What's going on? It's Mario. Final approach, the FA podcast, another installment. Geez, we're in the 90s now as far as episodes or podcasts or whatever you want to call it, but that's where we're at. We got some guests today. We're going to talk late season geese and of course the person to do it, BDH honk.
Oh yeah, especially
What and I see we have a new clown, a new clown to the circus.
100%. Old Waylon,
Waylon.
Waylon.
How old's Waylon?
He was born in October, so just pushing a little over 3 months now. But he's
Awesome.
pretty heavy.
Where'd you get him out of?
Maine. He came
Oh yeah,
from
you were saying that's right.
David Eaton up in Maine.
What up,
Um,
Waylon? What up, you little
Mill
turd?
Mill Pond, I think is what it's called. Mill Pond
Yeah, look
Retrievers.
at he's ready. Hey,
So
Bubba.
he's ready
Hey,
to rock.
Bubba.
Yeah,
He
he's
looks
crazy.
pretty chill.
He's pretty chill unless you put him down, and then he's
Yeah,
he's ready to rock. So
and then
we're
he's
gonna get him on some pigeons here soon, and
nice,
we'll go off to a buddy here in April or May, and
nice.
hopefully be ready for this upcoming season. So
Heck yeah, perfect
yep,
timing. Good
yep, he'll be
boy,
ready.
Waylon. Yeah,
Big old
what a
paws,
little
20
rat.
pounds already.
Yeah, look at it. He's got some big feet there too. Big paws. Nice.
Big
Well,
boy.
see what he turns into, right?
Hopefully something.
There's no bad dogs, just bad trainers.
I can agree with that.
Buddy, you have no clue. You have no clue what that what that is like because I can tell you. Like, why is Chet such a clown? Oh, look who trained him.
Yeah, I feel
This
that. That's how
guy.
Cooper was.
Look at this guy. So, all right, first before we get cracking, big shout outs to everybody that makes the machine go. Uh Roger Sporting Goods, Federal Ammunition, the guys at Weatherby Firearms, all my great folks at Loophole. And of course, shout out to the guys up north, Saskatoon Company, Tyler and the gang, and of course, Tourism Saskatchewan with the Honey Badger, Daryl and his whole crew, and everybody else that has had something to do with this deal and keeping this going and bringing the old logo, back. Everybody's jacked about that, and I'm like, yeah, I'm jacked about that too. That was my favorite. That's when it started. And that was the logo that I remember as far as like everything being freaking top notch. You know what I mean? So on the show, BDH Honk, our local Missouri freaking goose killer. Hey, did you kill a duck this year?
Did I kill a duck this year? Well, this year technically no, but yeah, this season for sure.
Well, okay, so this
I
past
know what
season,
you
so
mean.
let's just start there because usually you're like, yeah, dude, we shot like one duck. So did you actually
Yeah.
kill? I think you killed a couple ducks this year, didn't you?
Let me take a look here. I actually put it in my notes. I think 42.
Oh,
42. I stepped up a little bit this time.
that's like an all-time high for you.
I know. We got a little crazy. A little crazy. We dipped out.
Well, I mean, listen, it's so funny, but like where you're located, like I remember the first time coming up and you're like, dude, there's no ducks here. Like the ducks literally go around
Yeah.
us. But the geese come right down the slot.
Right now, yeah.
And I'm like, man, that sounds so weird. And I'm like, I want to see it for myself. So then see it for myself. And guess what? You're right.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yep. You
mean?
gotta
It's
go
your
like
area, you know it. And for sure, like they do exactly what you said. Like
right.
they do it. But the geese there, I mean, obviously, folks could look back this past year and on the last pass episodes on our YouTube channel, and we had some freaking greasy, greasy late season goose hunts over there with you. All water
Oh yeah. All water.
and
That's
all just s- stupid. And the thing about there, which is cool, and it's another thing that I've seen for myself, which is cool. It's all water. Like you guys are watching the temps, waiting for the warm up, and you said, I mean, we couldn't have planned it any better because you and I were. nervous as shit going into it. Like there's the warm up's coming, but it's not quick enough. I don't know. And then literally like 2 days before I got there, it like
Right.
started cracking, and you were like, "We're gonna have to bust ice. We're gonna have to get every, you know, ice, you know, rippler, ice eater, like every ice machine
Everything
out
going.
there and
Oh yeah.
generator and like get the gas and like literally freaking get the chainsaws, bust a hole, get it cracking, and for sure you got like listen, a lot of work. Like all of it's a lot of work, but you guys put in a ton of work before we got there, and then once we got there, like it
The
was
work's
lights out.
nonstop.
Like
Yeah.
we were on.
Right. And the work's nonstop. And I think that's where it separates a lot of people too is, you have a 90-day season to hunt honkers here in Missouri. And,
Right.
after 60 days, whether people have had good days or their bad days, they get burned out and they don't want to continue the work. And I don't think people realize how good the ending of our seasons are year after year. And if you just put in the same amount of work you did in the beginning, at the end, it's it's lights out. I mean, it is my favorite all time. Every year I take the last 10 days off a season just because it's that good.
I was like, listen, I grew up in Pennsylvania where there was hardly any ducks, obviously a million deer, and a lot of honkers. And we would go hard all season. So that was like my favorite. That's how I grew up, killing big honkers, learning how to kill big honkers, learning how to call them, figuring them out, scouting, that whole deal. So coming over there and shooting big fucking, big giant monsters over water, like
Right.
I was jacked. Like I couldn't get there fast enough. So all the
I
work
push
and all the
myself.
go ahead.
I was just saying, I push myself out of cornfields as much as I can, dude. I That's the last resort for us. I think
Yeah,
so. Like I said, 90-day season. You know how many times I've been in a cornfield? We got 2 days of season left. You know how many times I've been in a cornfield this year?
once.
Once. It's 3 days ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I saw the
I
pics.
do what I can to keep that water. Yeah, I do what I can to keep that water open.
Well, and I don't blame you. Listen, like, you know, if I could kill him over water, more so, here we have a different whole set of geese and everything. Like they just
Yeah,
they're winter wheat jumping, right? So they're in the
yeah,
green constantly. You know, could you get them on a loaf coming back? Yes and no, because most of the time they're going to loaf on a refuge with no hunting and it's tough.
right.
So the river systems or some low spots, it's a really hit or miss. So coming over there to do that, pretty pretty killer. Now, and like you said, so the work, like obviously you got to have spots or you got to scout to find the spots. Like there's no secret in that. But like what you're talking about, like literally being able to adapt because you guys have the funkiest weather in the world, I think. It's like 60, then it's 20, then it's four
Oh
days
yeah,
of like 4 degree, like you don't know
oh yeah,
what you're gonna get. So like having some form of whether you made one or bought some ice machine that breaks it up, whether it's there's a couple companies that do them, Ice Ripper, Ice Eater. Like there's, go look at Rogers Sporting Goods. I don't know what they got, right? Like
right.
go there. Like you could make one. I've had guys like, have a freaking two batteries hooked up to an electric trolling motor and
I'll say the
pound
old
steak.
trolling motor method.
Bro, don't trip.
Hey,
We tried it out here and that sucker went all night.
here's
So
here's the newest thing I'm seeing is burn barrels. Okay,
I
so
saw that.
people saw that
Saw that.
putting logs in the burn barrels, putting it in the middle, whatever. It's keeping it open. Whatever you got to do.
Hey, listen, like I would have never thought that. I don't know how efficient that is, but
Well,
like if you got burn barrels and you could put them in and dump a bunch of wood in there and let that sucker stoke all night, like I get it. I'm
right.
here for it.
And people don't realize too, man. Like I don't, geese are all over, but these Missouri geese they're different, and I'm all for having a big hole. So we do, like I said, we do run a bunch of things that keep the water open. But at the end of the day, for the people that, can't necessarily go out and afford stuff like that,
Yeah.
if you set an ice spread, it is literally lights out. You get 4, 5, 6 dozen sleeper shells and just put them like they're standing on ice.
Oh
It
yeah.
it does the same thing. So where we're running traffic right now, literally, uh, I don't know, like 200 yards away from the property line, there's a group of geese every morning that come and just land on the ice. It's a 50 pack. They just land. That's what they do all day. Just sit on the
Yeah.
ice.
And just
I mean,
chill.
it's not things that open the water. Amazing. Needed?
Yeah.
No. Makes it better? Yeah. You can
Yeah.
still do it without it. We ran it for multiple years before when we were kids and couldn't necessarily
Bust a hole.
swing these expensive machines. We wouldn't
Right.
even necessarily bust a hole, as we just
Yeah.
throw some decoys on the ice and call it the ice rink. So
Yeah. I mean, listen, we've done it. We've done it in a few spots where it's like, you know, you're like sledgehammer ain't doing it. Standing on the ice, it's like get the chainsaw. And listen, that's a miserable job. Like whoever signs up to run the chainsaw, you know, that is not the glory spot because you better be like waterproof all the way up to your face and
oh yeah,
goggles on because it is an absolute shit show when you get that chainsaw going and then you finally hit water and then it's going everywhere. It's like it is the worst gig for sure. So you better have a change of clothes or whatever because
oh
you're
yeah.
not getting out of it dry.
It gets yeah
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like there's no doubt.
we
So go ahead.
go. I was just saying, going back on that weather. So in Missouri, we obviously just went through. Man, I don't even know if it was a week ago. We just went through that freaking Arctic blast, whatever they call it, where they got all the snow all the way
Yeah,
down to Arkansas.
yeah,
Well, it froze everything up here. We had 5 to 6 inches in most spots, and that's what we took the chainsaw out and cut two big old holes and did our
yeah,
main traffic spot and got two rippers. Still running until this very day. So,
yeah.
but it's been paying off. So
Yeah, I mean that work definitely pays off, and just like you said, but also if in your scout, like if they're just coming to the ice just to chill, literally chill and just loaf and take a nap, like sleeper shells on the ice,
yeah.
like forget it,
Oh,
like
for sure.
sleeper shells on the shore. If you have a little bit of water open and there's some, that where they feel safe, where they can, there's not a lot of brush around where a predator is going to, come in and scoop one. Like if they feel safe, and I think that's the thing with on the ice, like say in the middle, like they can see
Oh yeah,
something coming. Right,
absolutely.
right. So they're comfortable. They're not cold. You know what I mean? Like they literally tuck feet and everything in and they're just out.
Yeah,
Um, so I mean they got no problems, like you said, chilling on the ice and literally not worrying about anything. So, if you can't bust a hole or if they don't even care and they're just coming to it. Yeah, I mean, you busted holes in spots we wanted to traffic where they weren't coming, but we knew there was a lot of birds. So,
right,
busting a hole and then going floaters, sleeper shells, and full bodies either on the ice or up on the shore is
right.
what we ended up doing, which is like basically pulling all the stops, right? Everything.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
And, and
It,
go,
I was just say
go.
there's a time and place too. So, obviously if it's 5 degrees out, 10 degrees out, it's sunny, blowing hard wind. I get it. Running an ice spread's probably not going to work. The only thing that
Right.
they're going to stop for is the roost and the
Food.
cornfield. And that's why I
Right.
was in a cornfield the other day.
Right. Because that's where they
Um,
were going.
and I get that. But, paying attention to the weather, um, I looked in advance and I saw that we had some 30, 40, and tomorrow 50-degree days coming up. And I
Yeah.
just knew at that point in time, there's your time to pull them down.
Right.
So all of our geese were getting up. We have two different roosts right now, and all of them are getting up and running straight north. Uh, so you remember where you came out for on the last
Yep.
pass there on YouTube?
Yep.
Remember the big lake that's set right behind it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have that open right now,
Oh,
and
so they're
that's right in the middle of where these
for
geese are
sure.
going to feed.
Oh, for
So
sure.
all we're doing is 40-degree, 50-degree days. Now's your chance. We didn't need to open it. We could have just ran them on the ice spread,
Right.
but we opened it. They've been running for 5, 6 days already, and
Yeah.
and that's where we're catching our traffic is birds coming or going to feed, And then
Yeah.
right now, I'm actually seeing a lot of reverse migrators. Even with this north wind, people don't think it'll
Come,
happen. It's happening.
coming back up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's literally happening. So,
I got you.
while they might not push far, maybe not up into Iowa,
Right.
we're still getting some reversers that are going to set down and hang out, and that's what we've been killing a lot of. In the evenings, that's when we're kind of been killing the ones that are going out to feed and stuff. But
I got you.
as far as the morning traffic, it's been just geese stretching their wings and stuff coming back. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it all, listen, it's whatever's happening in your area. Some people you know, might not have water or access to something like that, and they got to go chase them. They got to go chase them in a
right,
field. You know what I mean? Listen, I get it. It's, we didn't have much of a freeze here. We had a few days, but we didn't really have much. And our late season is still kind of going right now, but the weather's been it's gonna like for us here, okay, so it's ramping up in temperature. It's supposed to be 60 degrees. I'll tell you right now, I think it's supposed to be 60 degrees this week, and I'll tell you. And here's why, because everything changes like just what you have, right? When we start getting warmer, it's warming up this week and then it's going to dip back down like not much. So it's
yeah,
going to go from 60 to 50. But that 60 degrees, like from what I've seen in my area and what goes on here, and obviously I've been here for a while, like when those 60-degree days happen, we're not fighting any ice or anything like that, we're just dealing with a warm up from warm, right? To get warmer.
right,
I always notice they want to be in a sheet water situation in a field where they can go from food to water like in the same thing, right?
right,
So, they might go and feed like early, but then they're going to come and they're going to stop off on a sheet water, or they're going to stop off on a pond that has water and some grass or winter wheat butted up next to it, because I think on those hotter days they just want to be closer to water, whether they're going to get a drink or just, I don't want to say cool off, whatever they do.
like blow
It
around.
just, yeah, it just seems they want to be closer to the water. So like I'm watching the weather, like I know, and I've been watching it for 2 weeks. Like last week we did a field because the temp was cooler. And I'm like, now it's warming up. Now I'm going to hit a spot that's kind of like a loaf sheet water with grass and food, and they got both, and I've seen them stack there before, and literally we're going to go all in. And what I mean by that is it's like it's the end. Like I'm going to dynamite and I'm going to take the whole trailer. Like it's every full body I got, every floater I got, and we're going to like, and it kind of rolls up to a hillside, and I'm going to go silhouettes all the way up the hillside. So like when soon as they come over, either the hill or around the corner or out of the refuge, like just coming that way, they're just going to see like, holy shit, right?
Oh yeah,
Let's
yeah,
go big or go home. Like, that's it.
and that works here, but it's like for us, just like I showed you whenever you came up, man, we really do get away with a lot of small stuff, a lot of small
Sure.
spreads.
Sure.
So here we don't really get the sheet water loaves. It's
Yeah.
one of two things. It's either
It's a
everything's open,
pond. Yeah.
yeah, they're going to a pond and going to feed in the grass, or if it's frozen, they're strictly going to cornfields and then back to the roost. And
Yep.
the roost here is in the middle of a big lake that there's 6 inches of ice all the way around. Nobody's going to get to them, which is
Yep.
good.
Yep.
And they're just going from point A to point B, and for a long time they'll start doing that point A to point B thing when it's real cold, and they won't fly in
Yep.
the mornings at all. Your only chance is to kill them the last 15 minutes of shooting time.
Yep.
And that's when watching the weather really comes into play for us, to know as soon as we get a little bit of that warm up and we go out in the mornings and we're just kind of checking the roost. As soon as we see a group get up in the morning, we know it's going to start happening, where they're going to go out, stretch their wings,
Yep.
fly around. And that's when we know we can go out to,
Yeah.
run traffic on an open hole. And,
Yeah. Yeah. I
as
mean,
far as this,
that weather change, it's all about the weather, and that's why like the seasons have been so screwed up and the migration and everything else, and
Oh
everybody,
yeah.
I mean, we could talk about, like, they could talk about,
Oh,
flooded corn and
eating
that
corn
whole thing.
ponds.
Yeah, I mean,
Eating
like,
corn
listen,
ponds.
they were talking about how much corn is grown in all these states up north. I'm like, nothing has changed.
No, nothing. In fact, the
And
Dakotas have grown more corn in bushel
well, and here's the
than we
thing.
have ever.
Here's the thing. The the combines and everything else have gotten better unless you run into an old school farmer who has a shittier combine and corn's falling out and there's a lot of, like, leftover. But
Right.
they're pretty clean. So if they're growing that much, they're picking up most of it. Like, let's not get crazy because they're
For
leaving
sure.
they're leaving
And
dollars on the ground, right? So just because it says, like, one of the states is growing that much, that doesn't mean that there's that much there for the birds. Like, let's not get crazy. Like, listen, I understand what people are talking about, but I'm more of a weather uh freak because I, I
100%.
I mean, I mean, listen, I can go back to 2005 and 2006 when I we probably had the most incredible duck seasons and waterfowl seasons out west here that I had ever seen. And it was literally storms and weather. It was, and I could tell you exactly how it went because, like, those are the seasons like you talk about, right? That you go, hey, remember freaking '06? And you're like, yeah, I remember
Yeah.
'06 because we had a migration. We had our local ducks. We started in October. We had a migration, like a push at Halloween because it got cold. Then we had a push right before Thanksgiving. And I'm using the holidays, but that's when the shit happens. And
Oh, absolutely.
it was right before freaking Thanksgiving. Then it was right before Christmas. And then January was absolutely stoked. And I'm like, that hasn't happened like that since '06. And it is the weather because
100%.
what's north of me? Washington. What's north of Washington? Freaking Alaska, Canada. Like, there's nothing interrupting me other than Washington, which the west side of Washington is not your corn growers association. Is there
Right.
that's the east side of the state, and we are totally separated by the mountains. What comes down that flyway where, you know, all the guys over there, like Mike Franklin, Pacific Wings, and Bill Saunders, and Eagle Lakes, and those guys over there down that corridor, and Cody Reeves is up in Spokane, where him and Kyle and those guys are. Like, that flyway is not this flyway, right? So what's going on down the I-5 corridor? Like, yeah, listen, is there $1 million duck clubs like up in Washington that have acres of corn? Yeah, there's a few, but those haven't changed, and there's not any more. Like, maybe there's a few, but it's not enough to go, that's what's stopping it.
Yeah, and
Uh,
that's one thing I hate arguing with people. It goes the same for everyone complaining about like the ice eaters and the ice rippers and everything like that. Those have been around for a long time. And again, going back in time, looking at your previous dates, it's the same thing you would do as if it's reversed and you're looking, okay, well, we're gonna get some snow in North Dakota, we're gonna get some snow in Minneapolis, whatever. That's how we knew they were gonna come down. Well, you go look at it this year, we have a fifth of the geese we would normally have.
yeah.
And you look at it this year, there's been no snow up north, like at all. And it's not, well, I guess I got too many ice rippers going. So,
Yeah, but it's cold, right? So it's cold,
yeah,
but then there's no snow. So, okay, so it's cold. They can still get to a food source. It's not covered. So then they don't get
exactly.
booted. Like, you got to look at all the factors. Now, listen, I'm not saying that the guys in Missouri and whatever planting more corn has screwed the guys in Arkansas. I'm not saying that's not 100% like false, right?
Right.
Because you are seeing more. outfitters, guide operations, buying places, and developing places, right? Like,
For
sure,
sure.
that has increased, right? But not enough to change a flyway. Like, I have
No,
a hard time believing they could change a whole flyway off of, what's going on. It it could have an impact for sure. Is it something to look at? Yeah. Can you ban it? No. Like what do you like we're talking nonsense there. Like I don't see listen, the federal government has enough shit to do than worry about flooded corn. Like, do you think
flooded
that's on
corn.
the docket? Like,
Yeah, it's insane. I don't get it. And I think again, going back, a lot of people don't understand that it takes crops being covered for birds to move for the most part.
right.
Because here's the thing, sure, Johnny over here might have an ice ripper on his pappy's acre pond, which is
Yeah.
not going to hold 5,000 birds. It's
No.
going to hold, and they're going to hunt that pond, so it's not going to really hold any birds.
Right.
What's going to happen is you're going to go, for us, well, whenever we start questioning why geese haven't came down to Missouri, all you got to do is just hop in your truck and go look at the river over there in Des Moines. That'll answer all your questions. Well, sure, it's 5 degrees up there. Well, there's
Yeah.
50 Ks sitting on the Des Moines River,
Right.
and there's no snow on the ground, and that's why they're not here. That's why they're there.
Well, and okay, so here's the other thing, like if because I've seen it here, like we get a deep freeze, the birds, you know, stick around for like we don't get as much time as most people. Like they stay here 3 or 4 days. You can bang them up on the river a little bit, or if you got open water, and then about the fifth day, they're like, "We're out of here. Like we're
Right.
we're we're California. We're gone." Right? I've seen them, and what we were talking about, like the crops being covered. Like, okay, so all the duck clubs are flooded, frozen. Well, the birds are standing on the ice eating the corn. So
Right.
so we go back to the crops aren't covered, which goes back to the snow and you know what I mean? So it's hand in hand. Like yeah, listen, could the amount of corn and stuff being grown, is that maybe stopping a few? Yeah, like it
For
might
sure.
be for sure, right? Like I'm not saying that's it, but that is not the main. That is
Right.
not the main
Migration
reason.
paths change too, and people don't understand
Yes.
that. And they change massive. So,
Yes.
again, I'm not going to sit here and give you a story about ducks because you're talking to a goose hunter, but over by like Norburn, Missouri, you ever heard of that?
Mhm.
There's this massive goose statue. It's called like Maxie, I think. It used to
Right.
be like the capital of Canada geese.
Right.
Okay. I'll pay you $500 if you go hunt over there for
And
one
kill a goose.
season and you kill more than 100 geese. Where I'm gonna give you a high five. Okay, I've drove around over there so many times. There's geese over there. Don't get me wrong, but there's not geese over there.
It's not the
Okay,
capital anymore.
no, it's not even.
Right.
It's a
Right.
nothing.
Right.
For somebody to call me and say, "Hey, I found 100 birds over this way," I'd be like, "Whoa, that's
That's a
you're
lot.
pushing."
Right.
But somebody calls me over towards me and they said, "Hey, I found 5K on this." I'd be like, "Okay,
Right.
well, cool."
Right. Well,
It changes. It
well,
changes.
is Arkansas the duck capital of the world anymore?
Probably
Probably
not.
not. Because look at what's happened. Because here's the other thing. Like I'm gonna go back to weather, but now I'm gonna go like a little deeper dive and a little. Nothing is happening anymore that is a buildup. And what I mean by that is it's getting cold up north, starting to get cold. You're getting snow. The temperatures are dropping. The birds are getting itchy, and they start moving, right? And
Right.
and we get that progression. Now it's 60 degrees in Minnesota, and then the next week it's 3 degrees. It goes extreme, or it's 2 feet of snow, 4 feet of snow, 60 degrees, back to 20. Like the extremes are happening where the birds, I don't even think the birds know what to do because
For sure.
when the extremes are happening, like you guys got an extreme cold really quick. Well, the birds are like, well, what do we do? Do we move? Then we move. Then all of a sudden, Arkansas is in like a freaking deep freeze, and it's like, where are the birds going to go? Are they going to come back north because it's warmer, or are they going to go south where it's warmer? Like how does that even happen? Like the cold hasn't gone like this. It goes here, 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 and there's pockets where the birds can
Oh,
just
for
hang out.
sure.
So
Well, did you?
so explain that shit to me. That use and listen, I'm not a meteorologist. I don't know if that's ever happened, but I don't remember guys telling stories of Missouri's 3 degrees, Arkansas is 3 degrees, and in the middle of it is like 50 degrees, and down south or above you is warmer. I'm like, when has that happened? Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
Did you watch the last snowstorm that came through? Did you see that come across the United States? Obviously.
It was
So,
wicked.
well, here's what confused me is, I don't know if people just don't follow the weather. And again, this is just opinionated, but I've seen just thousands of posts, whether it was on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, of everyone in Arkansas, get ready. This is a duck hunter's dream. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I just wanted to comment on there and be like, why is this a duck hunter's dream? The storm is coming from the south. Your birds are still north. The
Yeah.
storm is moving north, which in reality is going to just do what? Push those
Push
birds
'em.
further north. So I'm like,
Like,
everyone's over here like, oh, well, get ready, get ready. And I just want to be like, what are you guys getting ready for? The snow is literally coming up to us, which is going to push our stuff back to where they came from.
right.
That's
Like
backwards.
it's a reverse like snowstorm. Like it's
It
coming
was. It
from
was.
like
Exactly what it was.
when does that's what I'm saying. When does that shit happen? When we get cold, like for us, it hasn't changed. And what I mean by that is our cold comes if we go clear, no clouds, and cold, right? No precipitation, it just goes clear for a couple days. The wind has to come out of the east. When it comes out of the east down the gorge, down the river, and that's when we get our cold, right? Okay,
Right.
that hasn't changed. But if somebody would tell me like, it's coming from the south, like say California goes into like a deep dive, the birds are going to Mexico. Like they're not coming up here. You know,
Right.
like prepare for it. Like if it's going to start there and come up here, like the birds are going that way. Like they know what to do. So there's so much going on with the weather that I think the corn's an easy thing to blame, right? And it's like
Absolutely.
it's a hot topic and everybody wants to get on it. But listen, guys have been developing clubs and properties forever. You can go back
Oh,
to Tim Grounds and his Goose Club and all the guys in Illinois and Foils and all these guys that develop all these properties. Like I can tell you the guys out west here, like Mike Franklin was one of the biggest guys to develop property where it's like, this is no bullshit. I'm guiding for him. This is years and years ago. He buys this apple orchard, right? And everybody's like, what are you doing? It's like, I don't know how it was like 100 and some acre apple orchard, right? That ran down in this ravine. And I start talking to him. He's like, this place is going to be a gold mine. And I'm thinking to myself, like, oh, he's one of the smartest waterfowl guys I've met, one of them for sure, as far as watching patterns and developing a piece of property. So there's so many places, refuge systems, lakes that hold birds around this spot, right? He was like, they got it. The other thing I didn't know until he started ripping on it, it had a warm water return on it, right? So there's
that's
warm
nice.
water well that he could recycle, right? So then he develops it and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4 ponds, step down. And he could run the water and step it down and fill whichever one he wanted. And
Yeah,
he
that'd be
did it,
nice.
bro. He did it all in corn. There wasn't a cornfield like in that section, you know, there wasn't any flooded stuff, but he had the water, he knew what to do, he bought the place, and people were like, he's finally lost his mind, right? And I'm watching all this go down and I'm like, dude, I know better. This guy's a mental, right? He knows you know, everything. And I'm watching, I'm going, this is going to turn into something bananas. And I'm telling you, I hunted it, I guided on it. It was absolutely stupid. If the water would get cold, if the weather would get super cold, he would open all the wells and let the water come back through. Every pond would be open, or he would say, "Hey, we're just going to hunt this one, and just let the water friggin' just rotate in it, or put a ice eater in it, or do whatever." And the other ones would be friggin' solid, and they'd have to come to that one. Like, like it's stuff like that change that area for sure, right? Did he? change the whole flyway? No. Can you
No.
change that little section? Yeah. But the other thing that everybody else is, has got to understand, like everybody that's developing a piece of property is you're feeding more birds than you're killing. I don't care who you are. Like
100%. Oh,
you could pretend, listen, you could pretend to be the biggest, duck killer in the friggin' world. And good for you. But I'm telling you right now, there isn't a person on this planet that is killing more than they're feeding. And it ain't even close. You know what I mean? It is not close because I can tell you the amount of birds. If I could all tag them all and count them and freaking number them and see who's coming and see who makes it at the end of the season and see who doesn't, bro, we're not even chipping away at how many we
oh,
kill at
not
our
even a
place.
dent.
Like, not even
Not even
close,
a
right?
dent.
It's a small
Right.
percentage. So that's a good thing. That's helping the birds. It's helping the birds move around. I do like some of the things that some of the refuge systems are doing where they're saying, hey, we're going to add more hunting or we're going to add hunting to this corner of the refuge. Like, I'm all for that for sure. You know what I mean? They do need a safe space, but they also can't just camp out and, they can't just pile the food into the refuge systems too, which they're not planting corn because most of them are all in moist soil and natural, and they all want to do that. So I I don't know how it is out that way. I don't know if the refuge systems over there are doing anything like corn related or ag like that. All the ones out here, everything has to be somewhat natural. So I just keep going back to the weather. Like I can get my head around the corn thing, and I understand that, but that's been going on for forever, like
Oh, for
forever.
sure. And
If you
so
have a
so
place
is
that you
opening
hunt,
ponds.
you're working on it, right? Like, and what's the first thing you want to do? You want to plant something, whether it's natural, and if you started in natural, you migrated to corn or oats or something hotter that they can get carbs out of, that get hot food when it gets cold and you could hold more birds. Like it's, this none of this is new. Is it going to a higher scale? Like, I guess maybe, but listen, I don't know that area for sure, but you tell me about that Missouri area and the Anheuser-Busch Club and all those clubs that are over that are thousands of acres of corn. Shit's been going on since the
For
70s because I
years.
remember watching that shit on like Grits Gresham, goes for a duck hunt with the Anheuser-Busch guys. Thousands of birds there. That's the
Oh, I
late
know. I
70s or some shit, right?
I've watched. So we grew up watching. Man, I don't even remember what Tony Vandermoor Habitat Flats used to call their DVDs. I have all of them out there. Fuel the Fire or something. I've been watching that since I was a little kid. That ain't
Yeah,
changed.
yeah,
It ain't changed. Ice eaters haven't changed. Ice rippers haven't changed. The one thing that's
yeah.
changed is weather. It's February 4th right now, and I got buddies in Minnesota and North Dakota telling me they see thousands of honkers.
Right.
Okay. Well, the only thing I
They're in
haven't got this year
t-shirts
is snow.
and they're in
Yeah, they're in
t-shirts.
t-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I checked the weather the other day in North Dakota. It was like 45 degrees.
Yeah. Listen,
So,
if I look at, listen, there is no reason I'm gonna look at it right now. I don't give a shit how much corn you plant. When I look at where Tyler Mann is, Saskatchewan Goose Company, right? When I look at Tyler's and he is 38 degrees right now in February, right?
yeah.
There is zero reason that Tyler, now, is it coming? Like I'm looking all the way out, for a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden it's down to like 16, 3, the low, you know, but there is no reason. Same with Brad over in Alberta, right? Let me look at Brad's. Brad is 47 degrees today. There is no goddamn reason that it should be 47 degrees in Alberta.
Yeah, that's insane. It's so this week, well, let's go up to like Fergus Falls. So this week we have
That's
30,
Minnesota, people, if you don't know.
right.
Go ahead.
30, 33, 33 degrees. Okay, the highest percent chance of snow this entire week is 17%. What you tell me at 33 degrees, so above freezing, at a 17% chance of snow is going to get birds to come down here to see me? Nothing.
Well, and it's been warmer or whatever for most of the time, so it's like been up and down, and it hasn't been, like I said, the steady buildup of weather hasn't happened in a long time, and that's what throws everything off. And that's why I think you get birds in Missouri, birds in Louisiana, some birds in Arkansas. Then it changes because the weather changes, and then they jump here and they jump there, and it's like,
Oh, for
like
sure. Well,
there's
here's
no
Missouri.
consistency.
So, like I said, I know a lot of people are worried about habitat flats. I know a lot of the feedback or the negative feedback that people are saying on social media comes back to habitat flats. Well, here's your problem. February 9th, I know we're after duck season now. February 9th, you know what the temperature is February 9th here
I bet you it's
over by habitat
55
flats?
degrees.
71 actually. 71 if this would load in here. 71 degrees. Now you tell me why our ducks or his ducks are going to leave and come south to
Go to
you.
Arkansas or go to Louisiana or go. Why would they? Like,
71 degrees.
listen, if I was kicked up at the beach in, let's just say, if I was kicked up on the river in Minnesota, right, with my feet up, and I had like food and drinks, and it wasn't getting cold, and I was in shorts and a t-shirt, why would I leave? Right?
Exactly.
Like, so yeah, we can, listen, I'm sure people complain and tell me I'm out of my mind, and that's my opinion and that's theirs, and do whatever. But I try to live in reality, and
100%.
not like some made up, like, oh, there's all this corn planted. Like, do we really know there's way more corn planted? And if so, are the birds even going there? Because listen, just because you plant a corn pond and flood it, it does not mean you are in the flyway and birds are going to go to it. You're not going to hold,
I
if you're not where they are and you're not going to hold them by the thousands, I don't give a shit what you plant. You could plant gold.
oh, I have some buddies that I hunt with over towards Chillicothe, Missouri, kind of, and they got a guy that has I don't remember how big it is. I think he said it's a 10-acre flooded corn that it's right along the Grand or something, kind of over by, not far from habitat and stuff like that.
Sure.
He said you could hunt it all season, not kill a single bird off of it. Why? I thought that's what stopped them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, just because that's out there doesn't mean that if it's not in the right spots, and I get some guys, like, if they are surrounded by those type of things, sure, the birds are going to pull in there. Like, I get it. Like, and you could fight it all you want, and you got to get real creative in that kind of spot. And what I mean by that is, if I'm surrounded by corn pond duck clubs, I know the birds are going to go in there in the morning and they're going to go in there in the afternoon and night, right? Where are they going in the middle of the day? Are they going to the refuge, or are they going to some low spot where I'm going to kill them? Because while everybody's getting up at 4 in the morning, I'm going to get up at 10. I'm going to go
100%.
somewhere, set
Yeah.
up a few decoys, and I'm going to spank them, and I'm not going to tell anybody. You know what I mean? Because I put my work in, I did my homework, I trafficked them, I looked at everything, I scouted, and that's how I'm going to kill my birds. So if that's what I got to do, so be it. Or if I know, like, hey, when this place shoots in the morning, all the birds get scooted out of there, or all the birds after they get shot jump over to this spot, I'm there. Like, listen, you got to get a little more creative. Like,
Oh yeah.
just because like you get up in the morning and go doesn't mean you made the right choice. Like, if you're just going to
Right.
go, like, yeah, you still got to do your homework. So now you got to be smarter. Like, I just saw a post that was like, normal. It said normal weekend waterfowlers, or kind of pose it like that. Guys who can't hunt like all the time, right?
Right.
You know, normal weekend waterfowl hunters it's going to get tougher and it's going to get worse. And I'm like, it may be, right? But
Right.
then you got to figure out what you're
You
going
got
to
to
do.
adapt. Yeah,
Yes.
you got to adapt. You got to scout. People don't like windshield time. You got to scout. You can't just go out. And that's, I get a lot of people always message me. It does look like maybe on my Instagram that we're killers. We only look like that because I go every day because I scout every day. You can only
Listen,
kill
there's
what you
no
can
doubt.
scout.
Listen,
If I was hunting the weekends, you would see a post every other week, because
if
that's
you didn't
just
leave
what it
your
is for.
house, yes, if you didn't leave your house all week, you would still kill some birds, and you just went on the weekend because you know your area and you got some spots, right? For sure. Like,
Right.
would you guys kill some birds? For sure. Would you kill as many as you're killing now without all the work you're putting in? No. And that goes for everybody. So you either put the work in or you pipe down. Like, I don't know how
Yeah.
else to tell you that because you
I
can
know.
listen, listen, if I was stuck somewhere where I had to like I'm either gonna sit here and bitch about like guys planting corn or I'm gonna figure out how to kill birds. Like I'm gonna go figure out how to kill birds. So you guys can
Right.
bitch and complain on the internet about every last thing. And you know what? I'm gonna do the same thing I did this past year. I'm gonna watch the weather.
Yep.
I'm gonna go regardless. I'm gonna go because I like to go. Like it's not all about I gotta pile them up. Like I like going,
Yeah.
right? I like spending time with people. I like going. I like the tradition. I like working birds. I'm not like hung up on I gotta kill my seven and get home. Like whatever.
Right.
I'm gonna
Just
go.
go. Yeah.
But if the chips are down and say I gotta take some people, you know, that I want them to have a good experience and I want them to shoot a couple birds, or I'm going like we got to film, right? For sure. I am nonstop on the weather apps, scouting. Everybody
Yeah.
where we're going is scouting, like everybody knows the drill, right? But you know, yeah, that's that's tedious. That freaking wears on you. Like
It
I'm not
does.
bullshitting you. After this season, like the last day of duck season, like the next day, I slept into like 8:30. Dude, I have never seen 8:30 on a clock in the last 10 years of my life, right?
It's
And
tiring, man.
bro, I'm not bullshitting. I slept in, it was like 8:27 I got up and I looked at the and I was like, holy shit, I just like I wasted the whole like almost the whole day. And I was like, I am flipping tired. Like
Yeah.
I was spent because I had to grind twice as hard this year for the results on certain days. You know, listen, did shit fall in our lap sometimes? For sure. You know what I mean? That's just luck,
Yeah. That's
right?
inevitable. Yeah.
Yeah. But did I feel like I had to grind harder? Yeah, for sure. Like I was, you know, Cole was home on break, you know, from college, and we pushed hard, and he wanted to go a lot. So man, I was grinding. So you know, I want him to shoot birds when he's home. You know, so we're trying to pack as much shit as we can into like 3 weeks, and you know, and then guys are like, everybody's calling in. You know, I hate to say like calling in their favors, but it's like, you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
and it's not really favors. It's just like, you know, everybody who wants to, you know, like the loophole folks and Riza at RMEF, like, you know, like they don't duck hunt or goose hunt all the time. So they're like, hey, let me know. And it's like, okay, now if I'm taking them, I got to pick my weather days. So then I start looking and I go, hey, can you go on this day? They're like, I think so. And if they can't, like then I'm looking for other weather days because I know what the hell's going to go on. Like, are we going to sit there on a freaking bluebird day and shoot birds? Maybe a couple, but our chances are better once again back to the weather. So
Yep.
you know, like I go to it all the time. Like I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what they're planting where. If the weather's not here and it's not moving them, it don't matter what's going on.
Yeah.
Like
That's at the end of the day, that's literally all that will ever matter is weather. People complain about corn, ice eaters, this,
spinners,
that, and
yeah,
this.
spinners, motion. You know
Spinners,
who,
yeah,
who's
whatever,
shooting.
battery powered this, jerk
Yeah,
rig that. It don't
yeah,
matter. If the weather's not there, the birds aren't coming. End of the story. There's no other argument. People that want to argue it, they can compare any duck numbers they want of 2025 to 2020, and
I
they
know,
can compare this and that. Well, guess what?
I
Let's
know,
compare the weather in 2020 to
I
2025.
know.
Okay.
Let's look at the weather patterns. You know, here's the other thing. Like I don't even want to get into this conversation, but just picture this in your mind. Imagine if you're a snow goose hunter this year in spring. Somebody texted me and said, David Bingham, our soccer player down in Cali, right? So David texted me. He's going, are you going for spring snows, bro? Like after the weather patterns we had this fall, do you think I'm going to, you know, listen, no disrespect to the snow goose guys who grind it out, and buddy, my hat's off to you. Grind away and chase them, and you're going to kill some for sure. But guess what? Am I like flipping a coin to go somewhere? Holy
No.
shit, no, not this year. Because it is going like yeah, it's going to be a rough one because I don't know. And listen, maybe it turns out incredible because of what happened and where the birds are and where they start stacking. But I'm pretty sure at some point it's going to be 70 degrees in Missouri, 4 degrees in North Dakota. Birds are going to be caught somewhere. They're going to push back. They're going to push it. Like something crazy is going to happen. Like I'm sure
Oh
of it.
yeah,
Like it always does. But how bad is it going to be? How extreme? I keep going to that word, right? Like how extreme is the weather event going to be that's either, you know,
exactly.
like what happens if it goes like 50, 60, like 70, 60, 50 degrees going all the way up and all of a sudden they got a clear lane. When the
Yeah,
snows push, you've seen it. They're going as far as they can go with open water and
yep.
stage, and they'll go another hour up, and they'll just keep pushing until they could just push
Oh
all the way
yeah.
through.
When we hunt
They
over in
are on
Mound
a
City, we'll
clock,
hop back
buddy.
and forth. Yeah, when
They
I have a group of guys I hunt over with in Mound City, and I never understood the snow goose game until I watched them. It warm up 4 degrees one day, and they moved back to Nebraska, and then it cooled down 4 days, and they came back to Missouri. So I was like, well, that's really odd. But it kind of made me think of just like this morning we were out. We did all right, but it was 31 degrees, north wind, and they were reversing backwards into the wind. That's not normal. But again, it all
when
comes down to the
north
weather.
wind, we're going to kill them. They're going to come out of the north. Oh, the birds aren't in the north; they're in the south right now. So why
Yeah.
are they pushing against the north wind? That's what I'm saying. Like, what is like the madness is just constant. So
It's weird. Yeah.
yeah,
I had my buddy text me, one of my buddies from down in Kansas City texted me yesterday and he said, "Are you guys seeing a reversing?" And I said, oddly, and that was my exact response. Oddly enough, yes. Because that is odd to me to see birds reversing in 30-degree north
north wind.
winds. They're fighting the wind to get back. Because why? There's no cover crop. They can already start heading back. They can go back to their wintering grounds. There's nothing that pushed them down. Those
Yeah,
birds, there's
nothing.
like three stages of birds. I've always said that in my life. You have your first goers where the first
Sure.
time it's north wind, it don't matter if it's 50
Yeah, you
degrees,
got the
they're
front
coming.
runners, no doubt.
Yeah, they're coming. And then you get your cold snap geese where it's like, okay,
Yep.
well, stuff's starting to get frozen. We'll come down. And then you have
Yeah.
your geese that literally just never leave. It could be, 10 degrees, 40 inches of snow, and they're trying to find their way. Those are the majority of geese, in my opinion. The
Those,
majority of birds
listen,
are hard headed.
and I don't think you're off on that. And what I mean by that is on the duck side of things, like, people go, oh, teal migrate early and okay. We were covered in teal after a freeze in the last month of the season here. It was cold, right? Covered, right? They should be gone. They should be in
Right.
Mexico, right?
Gone.
Explain that to me. So, and each species are different, right? And I get that on the duck side. But I also agree with what you're saying there. There's the front runners. They get a little wind up their skirt, they're gone, right? Second batch is like, yeah, it's getting kind of tough. We're out of here, right? And it could be, listen, mallards, gadwall, teal. I don't care what it is, right?
Right.
And then you got
Birds.
your stubborn ass birds that, hey, maybe they're older, maybe they know more, and they're like, we don't need to move yet. We're staying.
Right.
I don't
They've
know
got to
that.
be forced out. Forced out.
Forced out. I mean, like
Literally.
gunpoint forced out. You know what I mean? So
Busting
that
the
means
roost, forced out.
crops are covered, weather's awful, shit's frozen up, and we're getting pounded with pressure, right?
Right.
All that moves them. Like, yeah, I think there's a lot of birds like that. And maybe it's the smart birds. Maybe it's shit we don't even know about because they're just like, we don't need to move. We know the game. If we're safe right here, because I gotta listen, I'm obviously I'm not a bird like psychologist. They don't talk to me. I'm not a freak show, right? I don't know that. But I gotta think like if you have food, you have water, or at least you have food and you feel safe, why would you move? Because you know they're after your ass. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like
Exactly. And
they
I
they
kind of get
know the
behind you
pressure's on.
with the maybe it's the adult birds that stay up. Here's a good piece of information in a sense. All the bands we've killed this year, again, remind you our weather has been warm. All the birds that we've killed this year that were banded in 2025. That means they're too young to fly in 2025. So there you go. Your adult
They're young
birds. We have
birds
yet to kill
moving.
an old adult band this year, but we've killed a bunch of 1-year-old birds. Your young birds that don't know any better. Is
Listen,
that is
I'm not
that a
I'm
problem?
not I'm not saying we're right about what we're talking about, but man, that makes you
Right.
think because like you said, you know, are you killing 13-year-old birds that are just, you cut them open and breast them out and it looks like leather, right?
Right.
Is that happening? Do I think I'm killing, tough mallards that have been, you know, freaking moved all the way down from Canada? Do I think I killed, let's go here. Do I think I've killed one of the last birds to come out of Canada this year here? No,
No.
because I guarantee you there's still birds up there. The
Hundred
weather.
percent. Yeah.
So the weather. I'm gonna leave
Yeah.
it right. I'm gonna leave it right there because
Yep.
I don't,
There's
yeah.
there's no more argument to the story. It's the weather, and anybody that, like I said, they can argue anything they want. At the end of the day, it's the weather.
Well, here's what I'll say in our defense, and when people come to like hang us or do whatever, like I don't give two shits. But here's the thing: I would put if I was a gambler and I had to do red or black, I had to do corn or weather. I'm putting it on the weather, and I'm not
All
saying
in.
it's the splits. It's not 50-50. Maybe it's 80-20. Maybe it's 90-10 weather. I don't, all I know is I feel it is way more the majority of the weather than the food sources. And I'm
I
gonna I'm gonna
agree.
stick to that until somebody comes out with some study or studies year after year that tells me I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah. Just from doing it for a long time. Again, I'm not going to discredit the people that I'm sure that somebody with a flooded corn heat pond, whatever you guys want to call it, ice rippers going, I'm sure it's going to make a difference, but it's not going to make a dramatic enough difference where you used to get 500,000 mallards in one spot and all of a sudden you're getting 100. It's not, they're not, it's just not, and I'm going to stick with that. Again, I'm not going to discredit and say that it doesn't have an effect, but it doesn't
Okay,
have as big an effect as what the weather does.
so here's one thing to point out. When everybody says the corn's holding all the birds, okay? Flooded corn's holding the birds. Okay. How come and I'm not saying one guy, take 20 guys in some spot in Illinois where the birds came through heavy. Why aren't there still birds in those corn ponds then? Or a guy in Iowa or somebody in Washington or somebody in New York. Like if you're telling me all the birds just and those guys are like, no, we didn't kill birds. So I'm like, okay, so you have flooded corn, you're in the right spot, and you only killed a few birds. So somebody north of you is holding all the birds with the corn, but then you talk to the guy north of you, and he's in the same boat. So it's like you got to start putting the pegs together and going, okay, if the
Oh,
guy's
it's the
holding all the
weather.
birds, if the guys with corn ponds are holding all the birds, who the hell is it? Because everybody's saying it's not me.
Yeah.
So
It,
I'm
there's a
lost.
problem whenever I get text messages from people in Minnesota and said, "Yeah, our skies are still black in February."
So
That's a problem. It's not because there's heated corn ponds holding geese or ducks. It's because of the weather. I stand on that. I will always stand on that.
I'm on it too. I'll die on the hill. I'll take it. You
Yeah,
know,
I'll
like
take it.
this is why I wish and I'll single them out because I don't especially in that central flyway or that just right down the middle there. I wish I wish Tim Grounds was alive so he could put like knowledge on this because a guy like that, and I'm sure there's guys over there like Tim that have hunted that middle slot for their whole lives. I want
Right.
to hear from those guys. I don't want to hear from somebody who's 30 or 20 or even 40. I want to hear from some guy who's 70 and who's been killing ducks and geese through that slot for 50 years. And I want him to tell me what, like, do you think it's the corn ponds? That's who I want to hear from. I don't want to hear from
Right. I no, I
some
agree with
internet
that.
clown,
100%.
some influencer clown who's got a bunch of followers and has killed 4 ducks this year and I don't care. Like I don't want to hear from you because you don't have it goes back to experience and looking at a log. and you telling me we killed the most birds here, and this is what the weather was doing. When those guys write in a log and it says, here's the weather and what was going on, I guarantee it doesn't say sunny and 70, we smoked them.
No, 100%. And it's just for the goes, it goes to the people that book guides, right? What's the biggest question you ask your guides? What's the weather like in January? Why are you asking that? Shouldn't matter now, right?
When's the best time to come?
When's the best time to come? And what are you going to tell them? You're going to tell them what you know based off the weather pattern that you had because of the weather.
Weather, and the birds are going to move. That's right.
Exactly. It all comes down to weather.
BDH Honk, my guy. If you want to check him on Instagram, go see him. Falling Feathers is the other stuff that you guys got, right?
Yeah. Yep. Falling Feathers Media. It's on Instagram mainly. So
go check him out. If you want to check our stuff out, fabrand.com. If you want, turkey season's coming up too.
Don't get me started.
The Black Cat of Missouri, right here. This guy,
right
you'll
there.
see. You'll.
Hey, as soon as you flew out, though.
I'm not talking turkeys.
Yeah.
I'm not talking turkeys. You go to hell.
Hold on.
If you want to check our stuff out, I don't want to hear
you
your
got off
shit.
the airplane. Did you get a picture before you got off the airplane?
fabrand.com. Hit us up on our Instagram, our Facebook. Go to our YouTube series and check out The Last Pass and The Last Strut. You can go check that stuff out. If you want to leave a comment and tell me and Byron we're out of our minds with the corn ponds and the weather and all that bullshit, like hit us up. Like I'm all for it. So I'll take it all. Like, yeah. All right, buddy. Thanks. Tell old Waylon. Can't wait to see the little peckerhead.
Yep. Well, hopefully he turns out and actually does something for us. So
yeah, for sure. All right, buddy. Listen, appreciate it. Everybody, thanks for checking out the podcast. Big shout outs to Federal Ammunition and Weatherby, the guys at Loophole and Rogers Sporting Goods, Goose Company and Tourism Saskatchewan. Appreciate everybody. And also big shout outs. Actually, I did a podcast with the guys from Pattern Master and stuff a couple weeks ago too. That was a home run. Big shout out to those guys and everybody else that's kind of chipped in this year, Dogtra and a few others. So appreciate everybody. BH Honk, I'll talk to you soon, buddy. I appreciate it.
Later, man.